Hello everyone and welcome to the Pixel Tavern. This is the third and final part of my Spotlight on Extra interview with Masterz1337, the lead developer of Halo SPV3.2. If you missed parts 1 or 2, there is a card on the screen now to take you straight to them. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching and enjoy the final part of my interview with Masterz. So what's your opinion of the Halo franchise currently as it is under 343, and are you excited for Halo Infinite?
Yeah, so given what I said about Halo 2 earlier, this might come as a shock to some people, but I was never really that happy with Bungie manning the franchise. I like a lot of the people at Bungie. There's a lot of really smart people. I don't think it's controversial to say that they've had some problems transitioning using large teams and getting content out there and games out there in a way that is satisfactory to not just fans but even themselves. A lot of people I've talked to from Bungie, they still think the first game's the best. They don't think they were ever really able to capture that magic again.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I mean, I must admit the first one is still my favorite, but it's a shame they feel that way, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of the opinion that the brilliant minds at Bungie do not work well in a large studio environment. I think they work better when they're left to do what they want to do. I think that's why you see like such a good game in ODST. Like ODST is one of my favorite games, and Halo 3 is one of my least favorite. Yeah, and the reason for that is that ODST just is made by a small group of people who knew what they wanted to do, who had an idea of what would be fun, and didn't have to worry about mass market appeal or accessibility. It's, their own kind of little love letter to Halo 1 and Halo done in the manner that they wanted to do it. That was meant to satisfy themselves rather than fulfill, be a blockbuster game or whatever. I mean, obviously, I think everybody feels a bit let down by 5's campaign. There's a lot of stuff in it that I like, though. I definitely enjoy its multiplayer and what they did with it. I'm not sure if I would want another advanced mobility Halo again, but I definitely thought the changes they made, even if they were not necessarily better at times, it was definitely interesting. And I think sometimes it's better to be more interesting than it is to actually be better.
Yeah.
I just personally, I don't want to see all that stuff continue. I'm happy with it kind of being like a spin-off, considered more like a spin-off game.
Okay.
Than it being something that they continue to develop in that manner.
So do you think Halo Infinite's going to be more of a soft reboot more than a sequel, or what are you expecting with it?
That's what they've said. I think that you've definitely seen a shift. See, with Halo 5, it was so focused on being like hyper competitive, and now you have games like Apex Legends and Fortnite, which are more about, big worlds and expanses and doing new stuff. So I'm hoping that Infinite will just be like Halo 5 was. I hope it'll be different, and I hope it's a different kind of different than anything else we've seen before. I really don't want more of the same. The worst thing I think they could do for it is basically make it like they did, like try to make it like one of the Bungie games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to buy it whatever it is, and that's just me for any Halo game. I don't care if it's a complete failure of a game or if it's the best one. I always want to see what's being done with them and what the decisions are, and analyze it and look into it. But I would not be excited if it was just more of the same.
Yeah. Well, with I suppose you've got a bit more of a difficult choice as well this time. Do you think you'll be getting it on PC or Xbox 2 or whatever they're going to call it?
Well, I'm going to have it cross-platform because I always buy digital. So
yeah. Oh, there you go. You don't really have to pick then.
Yeah, I don't. I generally prefer console gaming over PC gaming, which probably comes as a shock to people. But I like sitting down, just having the entire screen like dedicated to a game, not have to worry about anything happening that's going to mess it up, or people messaging me, or things to distract me.
Yeah.
And having consistent performance. Obviously, I like the PC is kind of like the added value when it comes to mods and user content. But generally, I like to sit on my couch and play on my TV.
Yeah, I've always been the same. Like I mostly grew up with console gaming, PC more recently in the last 4 or 5 years. And although I do love PC gaming, the amount of stuff that can go wrong can get frustrating at times. So just playing on like an Xbox or a Switch just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, you're giving up features for usability. You know, when I want to play games, I'm not looking at having anything to play. I just want to turn my mind off and like enjoy it.
Moving on to another one. So, if you could see a Halo game made by any other developer in the world, who would you choose and why?
Whoever the best Call of Duty developer is right now, I would love to see like a Halo themed Call of Duty, which I know some people will say, "Oh, this is Halo 4 and 5," but Call of Duty does so much cool set pieces and boots on the ground style stuff. I would love to see what it'd be like to be going through one of their environments and like grunts going down the streets and elites, and you're there with your just a submarine. Like, I would love to see a Halo take on Call of Duty, or Call of Duty do a take on Halo, whichever way you want to put it.
Interesting choice. So, yeah, I'd agree with that actually. Yeah, either whoever would whichever best Call of Duty developer there is at the moment, or the Apex Legends developers, because
oh yeah, definitely them too. I love Apex Legends.
yeah, they're pretty much the original Infinity Ward, aren't they? So they pretty much are a Call of Duty developer.
Yeah. I should probably clarify. I wouldn't want this to replace a regular Halo game. I would want them to do a spin-off game that's not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see that happen in place of a traditional Halo game. I would like to see that there is like a spin-off thing, like Halo Wars, that kind of comes in the middle of the release cycle, just to do something new and different.
If you were the head of 343 Industries, what is the first change you would make to Halo, in general?
That's a good question. I would probably change the release cycle to be on a 2-year period instead of a 3-year period, but maybe they're doing that already with Infinite, since they seem to be talking about this being different than what they're doing, especially with the 5-year plan.
Yeah.
I would also really try to get Eric Nyland back and have him be a big factor in the story team of 343. I don't know who's currently on the story team there, and I've met some people who work there on the story team, and they're all great guys, and they're all really smart, and they're really passionate about it. But for me, at least, Eric Nyland basically built this universe, and I would definitely like to at least have his ideas at the table, not have him replace people who are there, but I'd like to see him working with the people there. And definitely, I think his input and his perspective on the franchise is really important.
I always think it's always interesting to have sort of like the original vision back and seeing how they can develop that. So yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, or even if he's just there as an advisor saying like, hey, well, I think we should it's not, despite what people think, it's never one writer there who's making all the decisions. It's a group of people, and they're always bashing ideas, and not bashing in a bad bashing, but they're always like throwing ideas out and working together and collaborating and bashing ideas together to come up with whatever is best. And I think Nyland would bring a lot to the table in those discussions.
Yeah, so we've got only a few more to go now. So other than from making this mod, do you still play the original Halo very often?
Yeah, I played on MCC a bunch. In fact, when they added the new skulls to it, the first thing I did was play through the campaign with some of those on.
Oh, nice.
So even after all this, when I have a chance to do a different mod on Halo 1, I'll still do it. Skulls basically are, mods to adjust, the enemy health and stuff and things of that nature.
Well, that's actually just reminded me of a question I think we missed, which was quite a big one that was asked. Basically, are you planning to mod the MCC version of Halo in order to make like an SPV3 out of that, or do you think that'd be too much sort of work to take on?
Yeah, there's not. I'm not interested in moving SPV3 onto the MCC. There's a bunch of technical reasons why that's highly unlikely to happen, and if it does happen, we wouldn't be able to have it the same features that we have in our version on Custom Edition.
Yeah.
So, I would rather just focus on new stuff too, rather than go back on this thing again. I'm pretty sick of a lot of these missions.
Yeah, imagine you've played through them a good few hundred times by this point.
Man, I hope not.
Perfect. 2 more to go. So, what is your favorite level, either new or old, that's in SPV 3.2?
That's a tough one. I've always really liked Two Betrayals. Two Betrayals isn't the map I enjoy to go play the most, but I definitely think it's the most interesting of all the maps in the original Halo 1. So that still might be my favorite. I also really do like Lemuria as a collective whole, and part of the reason is just because it's so different than everything else.
Yeah. I mean, Lemuria was completely new to me, so it was very interesting to play through that. Because when I first played through it, I thought it was something you guys had made completely by yourselves. I didn't realize it was a kind of a remake of another mod. But yeah, Lemuria campaign is very, very interesting to play through.
Yeah, that's probably also why I like it so much, because I didn't have to do like so much work on it. I mean, we did a lot of work on it, but we didn't have to design each and every encounter from scratch and stuff. You know, it was more of having access to something that was already really good.
Yeah.
Being able to augment it in new different ways and expand on what they were originally doing with it. Yeah, because they originally made Lemuria to be almost like an expansion pack to Halo 1.
Oh, yeah.
So when we were trying to like figure out what we wanted to do for 3.2, it was kind of like, yeah, like wouldn't it be cool to bring that under the roof, especially considering how big we've gotten? Like projects like that often get forgotten, and I think it's too good a project to just be collect dust. Yeah, and we definitely were also able to do some enhancements to it and fix some stuff up that people complained about in the original version, and some stuff that just simply didn't age well, both from a technical perspective and also just story. Like the original story for Lemuria talks about mantles, librarians, things like that, where you go back and play it now and it's like, this makes absolutely no sense now that we have these things established in the lore.
Yeah.
You know, and being able to, you know, tie some stuff in there, both into the Battle of Installation 04 and some stuff that goes on in later games was a lot of fun too. Yeah, they had with that a lot of really cool stuff. I think there was a little bit of a conflict with it, in that the areas were so wide and open, yet so much of Halo 1 is close quarters. So when we first threw the SPV3 content in there, we tried to make a lot of the combat more ranged, but just wasn't as fun as the close-up stuff, which is why when you play it, a lot of the weapons are not effective at range. Like you have the ODST pistol, you have the battle rifle without the scope. You know, you have the DMR, but it's more of a replacement for the sniper rifle and not as effective as the sniper rifle at the same job, even though it's a lot of fun to use. And then the Sentinel sniper beam is gone, replaced with the light rifle, which is very weak versus shields, and uses a lot of battery if you're going to use it in sniper mode. And the particle carbine is still in there, and the focus rifle. So those are basically the only ranged utility weapons that you have compared to the regular SPV3, where you have the pistol, battle rifle, DMR, and on top of everything else. So I think by having a custom sandbox that forced players to really navigate the environment more, rather than, you know, shoot from cover or from range, really helped it. And I think having the new sprint also made it a lot of fun too. You could actually enjoy those wide open spaces.
Yeah, some of them are quite large, so I can imagine without the sprint mod, you would have been, well, it would have been a bit more tedious to get across areas. But yeah, the sprint definitely improved that sort of aspect of it. Yeah,
so I think it really is like a perfect culmination of so many things, and it wouldn't be possible without those guys too, because their original vision for it was really cool.
What did the original modder think when you approached them about remaking it?
They were skeptical, and I think they still kind of are. I don't think they've actually played it yet.
Oh,
although I've access to betas. I know initially they were very worried, because my creative process when I go do something is throw all the ideas on the table and then see which ones are worth recovering, which ones don't work. And they saw a lot of me experimenting with those ideas, and I think it made them nervous. But what we have now is pretty close to what they wanted, and we took all their feedback. The only thing where we really had a disagreement was before you get to the tank section, when you're in that little valley, and all of a sudden the camouflage elites come out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was something that they weren't crazy about. But, you know, I argued on behalf of it, and so we have it.
Fair enough.
Testers seem to have really liked that encounter. I think it really takes people out of left field when they're not expecting it.
Yeah.
It's a nice, tense encounter, because you don't ever really have camouflage elites and bright open sunlight. Because the way that the active camouflage works is it refracts the light. So when you have them in a very light area, it's going to be harder to notice them than, say, a dark area where you might notice, different pieces of light refracting off their bodies.
Yeah.
And most of the time when you encounter camouflage elites, it's in some sort of dimly lit or artificial environment.
Okay, yeah, that's true actually. Thinking back on it, that reminds me, I do love what you did with the camouflage in this game, because in the original you could see them coming from a mile away, but now you kind of wouldn't see them until they make a very specific and obvious movement. So yeah, I was really impressed to see what you did with it.
Yeah, we can't take any credit for that. The Halo CE Refine team really figured out how to emulate the original Xbox refraction.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're using in this version of it. So that definitely contributes a lot too.
Well, hopefully the original developers of Lemuria end up enjoying it. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's nice because I do want people to play the original Lemuria too. We were going to include it with SPV3 as well, but there's some weird conflict where it crashes a lot with either open source or something. One of the things that has been done to the game over the years has made it unstable. So I'm not sure what's going on with it.
Hopefully you can get it working in a future update then, I'm guessing.
I mean, you can still play it in original, unaltered Halo Custom Edition installation. You can just go to lemuriace.com to grab a copy of it. It's just with all of our enhancements and plugins, it's conflicting with one of those in some way that we don't really know.
Fair enough.
So,
is that something you're going to keep pursuing to try and get it running, or is that something you're going to
I think people maybe will do like another download of it or something for people.
Oh yeah.
But it's not really something that we can incorporate into SPV3. It would have to be its own thing.
Well, we are on to our last question then. So what change have you always been the most determined to include into SPV3, and why was it that one?
Probably sprint. And mostly because I've always enjoyed sprinting in these games. I think the ability to have one last chance to get out of danger before dying is really good. And also just technically getting something to work that well getting something to work that well that's so different and so unexpected is, painstaking as it was at times. I'm really glad we did it.
Yeah. No, sprint was definitely one of the... I mean, I pretty much used the sprint mod as much as I could possibly find it in the campaigns. So, yeah, you definitely did a good job of including it.
Yeah, because especially with sprint, I know it has a lot of people who don't like it. But when you're playing a single-player game, you want to provide the player a challenge, but you also don't want to frustrate them by killing them. Like, you always want the players struggling to stay alive and fighting for their life. And the longer that they can struggle and fight to survive and kill their enemies, the more fun they'll have. The more times they get sent back to a checkpoint, the less fun they have.
Yeah, it becomes more frustrating.
Sprint is always like a get-out-of-jail-free card that you can maybe use. And when you just barely get away from the battle and you sprint away, in campaign, you're given a chance to recover and try to figure out what you're going to do next. It's that level of thinking and interaction that I think makes these games fun and addictive.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, I always found that especially in the original Halo, that the movement of the Master Chief was just a little bit too slow. So you'd end up being like, I've lost this battle, I better run. And by the time he's turned around, you're pretty much dead. So I'm glad you sped everything up.
Well, there's cases where you really shouldn't be sprinting and where it can be detrimental in that you're spending less time moving around than shooting. But there's also times where you're just a complete sitting duck and you have zero chance of survival because you made a mistake. And the fact that sprint lets you have a response to that, I think, is a good thing.
I can't really remember when sprint started coming into first-person shooters as a popular thing. I know it was available before the Modern Warfare games, but yeah, that seemed to be where it became huge. But yeah, I always feel that sprint adds something to a game rather than takes away from it, so it's good to see it be in this mod, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference between multiplayer and single player. But when it comes to single player, where the design goal isn't about fair combat, it's about interesting combat, and always keeping you guessing and interacting with different things, I feel like it works much better.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, cool. That is all the questions. thank you very much for your time today, Masterz. It's been great to chat with you.
Yeah, this was fun.
Thanks, man. And I hope you all enjoyed this interview. Make sure to check out @Halo_SPV3 on Twitter to keep up to date with all the latest details on the mod.
Hello everyone, thank you very much for watching. My name's Phil, I conducted this interview. A huge thank you to Masterz and the Halo SPV3 team for allowing me to do this interview. I've wanted to do interviews on this channel since I started it, so it's a real pleasure to get to do this. I will be back later in the year to cover the firefight mode. In the meantime, keep an eye out for more content from me in the next couple of weeks. I normally release videos 1 to 2 times a month, covering fan, indie and AAA games for either review or to look into its history. Click the bell icon to stay notified of new content soon. Finally, I want to say a huge thank you to you, the viewer. This channel has grown very quickly in the past few weeks, and although I always make the videos for myself, it's great to see so many people enjoying them. Make sure to check out our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram to keep up to date on our videos, and I think I'll be starting Twitch streaming soon. Otherwise though, until the next video everyone, thank you very much for watching.